And for the boys, a familiar face on men's number 1, Kai Leitner from the United States.
Angie Ferrero from Colombia is out on number 1. Puts Margo on 2.
For those of us watching who, recognize people like Margot Hayes or Kai Leitner from knowing them as, strong kids, it is pretty wild to see them here in person. Kai is one tall dude. We know he's got a huge wingspan, but that kid has grown, as of so many of these kids who, if you got to know them in D or C, they are adults now, and it's wild to see how their climbing's progressed, but also just how tall some of them are, and how short I'm starting to feel. Jake Elliott trying to make something happen on men's 3, switching between the Gaston and the meat hook grip on the bonus, but not getting enough support to safely pop a heel. Lily Canavan getting into the easier part of women's 4. She's gone past the hard stuff, and she can probably secure a top now. Excellent work from Lily. Justine McCarney is on her final problem, women's number 5. And Kai, speaking of being a tall guy, it's a fairly compressed start position. And he might be having trouble just getting his center of gravity into the wall, considering how tiny these holds are and how trash the volume foot is underneath him. Men's number 2, Brett's making progress. The next hold for him is the top, but it's going to come down to if he can hit it static or not. If he goes for a dynamic most people have been tossing off, if he keeps that heel locked, he's going to have it. Let's get the, the heel shifts, and he pops off. We got 2 minutes, 35 seconds left on the clock. Kai Leitner looking really compressed up in these small positions. Just the start position is so tight for him. He's basically got his left elbow at his left heel. Very tight on a 5-degree overhang. Jake Elliott, next stop, top. And we'll see if he can keep it in control. Looked a little perilous for a second. Great work from Jake. Still waiting to see action on men's number 1 from Kai. And from Angie on women's number 1. We got Maria working it out on women's number 3. It's a very unusual start position. She seems to be really trying to make it all happen with 4 points, but her head facing towards the wall. For the most part, people have been starting facing towards the left. They'll get their feet up on that ledge hold, lean their back into the wall, and then reach down with both hands. Big ups to jury president Paul Leday for handing me the official scores for the A boys category. Sounds like he's going to try and get me the women's. We are taking 16 climbers into semifinals. .28 seconds. I'm going to wait to see how this finishes out before I go through these scores. Final climb for Justine. Brett on number 2 with 18 seconds left. Could make it happen. Brett's got 8 seconds. No room for error. The buzzer is going, and he just can't get the heel, and that is it for Brett on men's number 2.
That is time.
Next up for the girls from the United States on women's number 1 is Claire Burfind. For the boys from Ecuador, we've got Carlos Grania. And still off screen is Remington Irwin on women's number 2. Before we start seeing some tops, I'm looking at Bobby Taft-Pittman. I never know what's going to happen with him on men's number 4. Ross Fulkerson leads the way coming out of the A qualifiers in first place, followed by his countryman Colin Wills of the States. Gaio Hernandez finishes up in number 3 from Ecuador. We're going to have 6 Americans for the A category going through to semifinals. 4 Canadians, 2 Ecuadorians, 1 Colombian, 1 Mexican, 1 Guatemalan, and 1 Chilean climber going into A men's finals. A nice representation from everybody there. Looks like Claire Burfine made short work of women's number 1, already back in her chair with 3 minutes and 28 seconds on the clock. Hayden Jones on his final problem of the day on men's 5.
Results have been posted. Les hommes Youth A. Les stars sont dans la porte en avant. Results.
Julia Talbot also on her last problem on women's number 5. Remington Irwin still trying to negotiate the start position of women's 2 on the crimp ladder on the speed wall. Taking it slow and steady, but she's got bonus convincingly. And the top is her next stop. We'll see if she can hold it. One hand confident. And that's looking excellent for Remington Irwin. Great top from her. Raul Sapra fighting with the slick volumes and crimps on men's number 3. And Vinicius on men's 2. Sorting out the start beta. If you guys have any particular questions about official scores for the A boys, unfortunately it's the only list I have right now. Hopefully I'll have some A girl scores soon. But if you want to confirm anything, let me know. Just tweet at me at Plastic Weekly. Or if you have questions about anything else, shoot them my way and I'll see if I can get an answer for you. Quick reminder of the setting talent behind all of these problems. The crew chief for the boulder segment of the competition was the Canadian Simon Parton, and his assistant chief setter from Argentina was Antonio Moya. And they are assisted by Chris Danielson, who's the route setting coordinator and expert counselor. Starting on Friday, we'll start to see the difficulty component of the event, which is led by chief setter Brett Johnson of the United States and his assistant chief setter from Chile, Christian Carreras. And they're supported by setters from across North and South America, including Selena Wong, Laura, Matthew, Yaron, Nick, Andrew, Oscar, Juan, Caleb, Kyle, and Loic. Thanks to all those guys for all the work they've put in. It's a very long event, not just for us, but for all the extra time going into an event like this, which starts a week before today and ends probably a couple days after it all finishes. There's a lot of work that goes into this. So thanks to all the route setters for really doing a lot of physical labor and trying to make this an excellent event. And so far the route setting has done a great job. We're seeing the kind of separation that we want. We're seeing good amounts of tops, challenging the kids on an international stage. So far top marks to all the route setting crew. Our new climbers, we've got Zoe Boscheman from Canada on women's number 1. For the boys from Ecuador, we've got Danny Valencia. And off camera for women's number 2 is Angie Ferrero Silva of Colombia. Kai Leitner, the big star on your screen right now on men's number 2, finally on a climb that maybe is a little more appropriate for his size. He's looking really tight up in knots on men's number 1. He's one tall guy, and when you get to tiny crimps, it can be really rough to fit in there. We got Skylar Smith about to hit the top on men's 5. That's 2 hands, and that is done. Excellent finish to Skylar's round of climbing. Another strong finish for the United States. And Danny on men's 1. Very secure top, looking excellent. Great work from Danny. Zoe Boscheman taking the long look on women's number 1, stepping far back, taking in the whole problem. And Kai Leitner looks like he's about to lock down a top on men's number 2. Brett Walker getting close to the top of men's 3. It's all about how you choose to go to this finish. Goes for the Gaston, excellent choice. And the match locks it down. That's 3 tops for American boys this round. Jake Elliott on men's 4. Took some time to brush. He's going to hop back up. Margot Hayes, the other superstar on the walls right now, as she's on women's number 3. This climb has 2 distinct challenges on number 3. First is just managing to get around the corner to that sloper. And if you can manage to stick that, then you got to do a full mantle, hand-foot match, and a stand-up. But step 1 is getting around the corner, so we'll see how she manages. Looking pretty good right now, but feet dropping off and dabbing like it's 2016. Angie on women's number 2 just secured a top. Excellent climbing from her, looking very stable the entire time. We got a minute 32 left on the clock. Zoe on women's number 1, still taking a long look. There's a lot to wonder about the finish hold on women's number 1. Just a big Fontainebleau style sloper, but really not that much to crimp. All the tops we've seen so far, aside from a couple, have mostly relied on contact strength rather than crimping into the creases. Margot with a minute to go, getting very close to sticking the sloper around the corner. Jake Elliott about to go for the side pull crimp. And he does it well with the high heel, keeping him in balance. This top should be his. And excellent work from another Canadian. We got 47 seconds left on the clock for our remaining climbers. Margot sticks it, but really flying around. She's got 38 seconds to recompose herself, get the full mantle, which she makes look easy. Gets the foot up, just got to make sure. Oh, the foot's just out of balance. She's going to hop on right away. Brushers going to town to help her out. 21 seconds left. See if she can stick this dyno around the corner with a little more poise than last time. Slipping right off with only 14 seconds left. She's going to have to pack it in.
Pull that for Margot. Right down to the wire. Vamos, vamos, vamos.
Now out on problem number 1 from Mexico, our final junior women's climber, Mariana Alonso Riquelme. And from Canada, Kyle Murdoch on men's number 1. Claire Burfine still off camera on women's number 2. This will be an interesting set of climbs on women's and men's number 5. We've got Bobby and Bimini from the United States. Might get to see some impressive tops. Claire Burfine having no problem on the crimp ladder of women's 2. Excellent top. Cal Murdoch's got to follow that up. See if he can make it look just as good right beside where Claire was before. He's looking good so far. He's got the bonus secured. 1 hold away from the top. Looking excellent and poised, and that is going to be a top, a flash for Kyle Murdoch. Raul Sapra on men's 4 secures the top, also on his flash attempt. Bobby Taft-Pittman on 5, making progress up in the slab section. Just got to bring his feet onto the slab wall where things get real tricky. Carlos on the men's number 2, trying to get his way beyond bonus, and Bobby back on 5, just 1 move away. Barring any crazy mistakes, he should have this down. He might go for the tip of the finger finish, but it looks like he's going to get a bit more dynamic, hit the top, and a great finish to Bobby's round.
Nice job, Bobby.
Fun dude to watch climbing. Maya Madera on women's number 4, securing the excellent top. Carlos on number 2. Gotta feel bad for him. Hands securely on the top, but just a bit too loose trying to get the match. We got 2 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock.
All right, man, lots of time. Vamos, Carlos.
Mini Horseman trying to wrestle through these volumes, just not quite able to make it stick. Vinicius on men's number 3. Trying to check it out, see if he can sort out the start area. Carlos on men's number 2, who had 1 hand on the finish in his last attempt. Going to see if he can make that 2 hands, but can't stick the crimps this time. He's got 1 minute and 15 seconds left. And Mariana on women's number 1. Still wrestling with that slopey, steep climb with a minute to go.
1 minute. Come on, baby.
Let's see if Carlos can get this top with 45 seconds left. He did a great job on men's number 1. It'd be great to see a follow-up on number 2. Mariana securing bonus on women's number 1 quite easily. With 34 seconds left, it might be tough to get the finish, and Carlos being denied the top again. Remington Irwin having some trouble on women's number 3. Definitely one of the trickier and more dynamic climbs for the women this round. And Carlos bringing it down to the wire with 14 seconds left on the clock. He's in familiar territory now, but he's got to stick the crimps. With 7 seconds, he's got to make it happen now. He's got to make it happen. 2, 1. Not sure he would have got it even if he matched, but excellent climbing from Carlos. And we have no new women anymore. We are done with the junior girls, just the girls we have. And Zoe Boscheman is still off the screen on women's number 2. But we got some new climbers coming in from the boys. On men's 1 from Mexico, Andreas Orozco Moreno. Danny Valencia is on M2. We got Kai Leitner back on men's 3 and Margot Hayes on women's 4. For their last climb, we got Maria Soto Ugarte on women's number 5 and Jacob Elliott on men's 5. Jake looking pretty good so far, keeping it comfortable on the slab. Margot Hayes dealing with this crack like it's nobody's business. Once you get past the lower part of that layback volume, things ease up a bit once you get your feet on that slope, so that's a great top for Margot. Andreas on men's 1, one hand away from scoring the top, but popped off unfortunately. And Danny on men's 2, just trying to sort through the volume. Brett Walker on men's 4. See if he can go to the side pull crimp out of balance. Some have stuck it, some have not. And it's just interesting to see which climbers decide to stay with that beta and go for the risky barn door and stick in a crimp, or the ones that try and find a use for their right foot to help create a little more balance when reaching for that. Danny out on men's 2, still trying to sort through that bonus. But it is a pretty blank sloper. Not easy to rock off of, especially when you got to launch to some little crimps. Not looking super happy over there on men's 2 with that. But he's still got 3 climbs left. Andreas on men's 1 again, coming so close to that top. Is not quite there. Brett Walker decides to actually pop the heel and gets a little bit easier, although that heel might have been a bit desperate for a second. If he can sort himself out. This looks like it could be a top.
There you go.
Great work from Brett Walker. I do have final scores for the A girls, and pretty predictable results in the top 3. Brooke Rabitou, Natalia Grossman, and Valentina Aguado are your top 3. We'll be taking 7 Americans, 6 Canadians, 1 Argentinian, 1 Chilean, and 1 Mexican into the semifinals for the A girls. And we got less than a minute to go with our current crop of junior climbers.
Jake, that's 1 minute.
Jake Elliott on men's 5 really wants to finish this out on a high point. 38 seconds left on the clock. Danny on M2 as well would really like to lock down the top on this thing. He's getting so close on the bonus. Jake unfortunately can't keep it together for that last little bit, and with 22 seconds, he's just putting it all out there. It looks like he's going to get back on the wall for a final attempt. Why not? 12 seconds left on the clock, and it's all down to Jake and Andreas on men's 1. Jake won't make it, but with 5 seconds left, Andreas could make it go. Just can't find a foot to push him up to the finish, and he's out. Our new climber on the wall from Canada is Lucas Ushida. Mariana is also off camera on women's number 2. She's in the crimp ladder problem.
Clear around the corner on number 3. Remington and then Maya.
Rahul Sapra and Maya Mader on their final problems on women's 5 and men's 5.
Vamos, Carlos.
Maya really going to have to find the power for this problem that a lot of girls have not been able to find, but she's looking pretty good so far. She can make sure she gives it all. She may stick bonus. Excellent work from Maya. Remington Irwin on 4 as well, and a difficult part. The 4 not quite there. Maya looking excellent at this point. A flash on this problem would be pretty extraordinary. Only a couple girls have done it so far, and I think all of them were in the A category. Let's see if she pinches this finish hold or crimps it. Ooh, that looked... Yikes. Excellent top from Maya. A little close, but great work. Lucas Ushida taking M1 methodically, not interested in taking any risks. Next stop is the finish. He's going to go a bit dynamic, but manages to lock down that little crimp. Claire Burfind on women's 3 gets into the mantle, but pushes herself right off. And Rahul Sapra getting real close to the finish on men's number 5. He's getting a bit desperate, swinging his foot around. He goes for a reach while he's not stable and ends up back on the ground. Excellent top from Carlos on men's 3. Almost all of the boys have gone into the finish of men's 3 as a Gaston, which keeps it pretty stable. But Carlos, as well as Bobby from the States, going for a big dyno to the top of that sloper. It's definitely a bit scarier. The judges might be backing off a little bit, fear of their lives of getting a kid into their face, but makes for fun rock climbing. Claire Burfine managed to get back to the sloper on women's 3. See if she can make the mantle happen this time. Rahul Sapra full extension, trying to crank through these crimps and trying to find a stable position that he couldn't find before, but not quite. And Claire really fighting with this mantle. Kyle Murdoch taking his time on M2. He's checking it out, seeing what's going on.
Claire, come on, you can sort it out. There's no doubts.
Vinicius on men's 4, going for kind of a running start. He knows what the bait is, thought he'd just give something else a try. Maybe just having difficulty getting enough friction with his feet to stand up.
Come on, Kyle, let's get this.
All right, Rahul. One minute.
It's a minute left, and Rahul Sapra again getting so close, but maybe rushing it a little too bit at the end. That finish hold can feel so close and it looks so good, but it might be best to approach with caution. We got 35 seconds left on the clock. Kyle resting and chalking up on the bonus of men's 2. See if he can string together the last couple of holds. Kyle's looking confident, just got to keep it together. Oh, but the feet slip. What a bummer way to end a problem. Rahul Sapra trying to stick that toe. It's going to be hard to put the weight on it, but he manages. Nice clean top from Rahul Sapra on number 5. Good way to finish the round. Our next climber out from Canada, Maxime Boisvert on men's number 1.
Maxime Boisvert qui arrive sur le numéro 1. Andres on number 2. Danny Valencia here on number 3. Kyle Leitner on number 4. Brett Walker down there on number 5.
Got a great shot right now of Kai Leitner and Margot Hayes side by side. Kai on men's number 4 and Margot on women's 5.
Zoe's on 3. None of the ladies left for 2.
This is the kind of climb that I feel like Kai will have no problem with. Making it look easy coming up into that crimp. Excellent job, Kai. Brett Walker on men's 5 for his final climb, alongside Margot Hayes. Danny Valencia on men's 3. Curious to see how he tries to approach this bonus. The Gaston looks like it's really tough at this point in the day. And he manages to stick. If he can keep that heel on, he might be able to get hands matching on bonus. Nice job, Danny. And Brett Walker walks away with the top, just out of the corner of my eye on men's 5. Margot Hayes, hopefully we get another top on women's 5. Really a cool climb. It's just powerful enough that it's been stymieing most of the girls. And Maxime on men's 1. Again, trying to take it slow through the crimps. We don't have any women on women's 1 or women's 2. We're slowly seeing fewer and fewer of them, as we're going to go through a long list of boys before we're done today. You can always keep track of the scores for all these categories at ifsc-climbing.org. Follow the competition link and hit the calendar button. Scroll down a bit, you'll find the Pan American Youth Championships, and just select the results by category. Those are being updated as the judges input them, so when a climber gets a top, usually that score will be in the computer within the next 15 seconds. Those results aren't completely official, but they're pretty darn accurate, so it gives a good idea of what's going on. Danny again looking good on men's 3, getting the match on the bonus, and now it's all about, oh, he manages to switch to a toe, which makes it a lot easier to come through those crimps with confidence. But again, there's 4 of them, so you got to figure it out, and he's kind of taking a taste test, deciding what he wants best. And it goes for that dynamic throw, which is definitely exciting, but probably the lower percentage version of that problem. Margot Hayes still stymied by women's number 5, which we've seen sent by her teammate MYA Madère. We'll see if Margot can match it. Angie from Colombia on women's number 4, trying to sort out the start. The section between the start and until you get your feet on the next round volume beside the black layback is actually the more difficult part of the problem. The top section's pretty easy. Now we're starting to see some moves from Margot. See if Margot can keep it together and lock down a top on this problem. She shimmied up nice and high with 1 minute left. Now she just got to make sure she doesn't let go, which is not something Margot does. Excellent top from her. Danny looking good. Again, 1 hold away from the top on men's number 3. I'd really love to see this thing go down for him. And again, committing to that big move. Not sure if he's not seeing the stand into the Gaston. Zoe getting tossed right out of the corner into view on women's number 3. Andrea still on M2, trying to work his way out past the start and past bonus, but with 5 seconds left, he's going to be done. And we're moving on. Our next climber out from Colombia, Julian Camacho.
Julian Camacho from Colombia. Lucas Uchida, Kyle Murdoch, Carlos Grania, and Vinicius down on the end. Only a couple of ladies left. Mariana on number 3. Claire here on 4. Remington on 5. Come on, Claire.
Claire Burfine making it look easy up on women's 4. She's going to be stealing the top to this thing.
Oh, I see.
Excellent work from Claire Burfine.
Smooth, Claire, smooth.
Now's a great time to thank some of the people involved as we get towards the end of this competition. Realizing how much work goes into this. Of course, if you're watching this, chances are you're involved in the climbing world. You know what it means to be a volunteer, and you've probably been involved in a couple comps or attended a couple yourself. A lot goes into it. In this case, when we're getting athletes from across continents, across language barriers, across borders, there's a lot of work that comes into it, and of course it means a lot of international talent and the route setting crew and the officials. But from our sponsors who managed to support this to make it a feasible event, we thank them for their big contributions. Our presenting partners are Accès Escalade Montreal, the Pan American Council of the IFSC, and of course Centre d'Escalade Horizon Rock, which is our host today. Horizon Rock, one of the biggest gyms in Canada, here in the east end of Montreal, just around the corner from the Olympic Stadium. Also thanks to the government of Quebec, the city of Montreal, Tourism Montreal, PME Montreal. If you end up coming down here to check out this excellent gym, maybe check out the Olympic Park, a biodome nearby, you can always check out the Tourism Montreal website to see a lot of other fun things to do. Or if you're somebody like me, you can hit all of the amazing gyms here in Montreal. So many excellent gyms, including Horizon Rock, that you should really take the time to spend a day at. Also thanks to our official partners, Entreprise, Perfect Descent Climbing Wall System, Hotel Gouverneur Montreal, Auberge Royal Versailles, and the Travelodge Centreville. Those are some of our suppliers and official hotels. Thanks to the sports organizations involved, of course the IFSC, the CEC, and the Provincial Fédération Québécoise de la Montagne et de l'Escalade. Help also from Sport Climbing British Columbia and USA Climbing for helping support the event. We've got some proud partners in Bloc's Climbing Equipment, Kumiki Climbing, PCM Premium Volumes, and Dimension Volumes, whose products you'll see across the wall over the next few days, culminating in surely some excellent looking route setting and finals. Thanks to Le 5600, INS Quebec for their support with the infrastructure. Thanks to Action Sport Physio for their medical services and equipment. Thanks to the boys at TV Go sitting beside me for helping make this live stream run smoothly and all their support. Also to ESIM for helping recruit volunteers. The Eco Quartier Mercier Hochelaga Maisonneuve and the Conseil Québécois Événement Éco-Responsable. This is a sustainable event. You can see it in how we're sorting with our trash, the kind of materials we're using to bring in all the food for volunteers and stuff. Thanks to those two organizations for helping keep it sustainable. Thanks to Make a Champ for helping us raise funds for this event, and that Make a Champ crowdfunding campaign is still open, so check out our website, climbingpanam17.com, where you can still donate to help support what's going on and help make it better. Also to Stay 22, welcome athletes and residents 1515 for helping accommodate athletes and volunteers and route setters. And finally, La Cordée, excellent climbing shop who's offering 10 to 20% off in stores this week. So check them out and maybe get some new gear for yourself. Thanks to all of those who sponsored us. It means a lot in bringing this really important event that we don't get to experience too often. Our last Pan American Championships was in November 2014. Europe and Asia managed to get one of these every single year, but for us it seems hard. Maybe we don't have the facilities, maybe we don't have the financial support, but when we do get it, it means a lot to us and it means a lot to the athletes, so thanks to the supporters. We've got a new climber on the wall. It's Jose Emilio Venegas Medina from Mexico. Kai Leitner is on men's number 5 for his final problem of the day.
We got Kai down on 5, Danny and Andres.
Angie Ferrero Silva is also in her last problem on women's number 5. Zoe Boscheman on women's 4. We got Danny out on men's 4, Andreas on men's 3, Maxime on men's 2. Kai looking pretty good so far. We'll see if we get a masterclass in slab climbing on men's 5. Kai getting a lot of support from his teammates down on the floor. Kai looking a little bit shaky, maybe expend a lot of energy. Tries to pop to the finish, but it's not going to go. Those feet won't support that. And the finish hold might not be good enough. Excellent work from Jose on men's 1. Manages to send the crimp problem. Good start for him. Maxim on 2. Getting to the bonus area, but slipping off. See if Kai can finish this up. It's getting close, but clearly tempted to make a dynamic move rather than reposition through the small footholds and handholds. Something about climbing on slab, you just want it over quickly. Can often go to your head and make you make decisions that maybe aren't the smartest. But Kai's also a tall dude, and I imagine he might be able to stick a move like that if he gets it together. Andreas on men's 3 gets the bonus, but that hold is pretty risky towards the end of today.
Surprised by the ground.
Trying to take it easy on 5, but still tempted to go to that finish with 1:14 left on the clock. Kyle will have to make a decision. Probably only one more attempt, maybe 2. That's 1 minute left.
1 minute.
Danny looking good up here, manages to get the crimp. That's usually the key for most of these climbers. He's got to make sure he can step into his left foot to get out of here. Might have to do a foot switch, which could be super risky, but he nails it. Gets the right foot up, and this looks like a top for Danny of Ecuador. Excellent top. Also a top for Kai Leitner on 5. Great work, boys. Nice finish for Kai. Danny's going to be happy too.
Come on, Max.
10 seconds to go. Everybody's going to walk away.
Go, Lucas.
Mariana Alonso.
We're now towards the end of our new climbers. We've got about seven men left still to come out. From Brazil on men's number 1, Felipe Voganolo. Actually, in my list, I can't tell if there's a line break or not. maybe Felipe Foganolo.
From Brazil.
Nothing like reading a running order off of an iPhone. But I think I got it. Felipe on men's 1, going at the crimps from Brazil. Claire Burfind on women's number 5. Looking excellent for an early attempt. Let's see if she can lock it down. Beef up her score as we finish out her round. Nice job from Claire Burfind. Carlos on number 5 as well. See if he can finish in style. And Felipe on 1 manages to get one hand on the top, but his body just peeling away. Oh. Carlos looking so good, but hesitates, loses his balance, and he's off.
Oh, Mariana. Slippery up there.
Come on, Lucas.
Carlos. Vamos, Carlos. Yeah, Carlos.
Let's see this thing go down. Carlos.
Carlos.
Nice job. Great finish for Carlos. He'll be happy about that.
Go, Kyle.
Come on now, Kyle.
Okay, Kyle, come on. Go, Lucas! Come on, Lucas!
Lucas Uchida getting real close to the finish of number 3.
Here we go.
Let's see if he goes for
Here we go.
You know, I'm starting to hope they all go for that huge dyno over the top, but no can do. Excellent work from Felipe on men's 1. Manages to get that thing done. Mariana working away on women's number 4. She's at the hard part where you got to figure out really how to use your feet as you get through that section, but it's tough. You can kind of tell from the marks on the wall that a lot of smearing is involved. Kyle Murdoch coming up here to get the top on men's number 4. Nice job from Kyle. We got 1 minute left on the clock.
1 minute. Vamos, Mariana.
We got Mariana still working away on women's number 4. And on 97, Julian Camacho of Colombia with 40 seconds left. See if they can fit in 1 or 2 more attempts. Julian looking pretty good, but definitely tentative. Not too confident in using the grippable surface. 17 seconds left, and they're both going to back off.
Allez, Max!
And we had a Juan Sebastian in the A category, and we've got a Juan Sebastian in the junior category. Juan Sebastian Mendoza Riaño. He's now out on men's 1 from Colombia.
Alright, Zoe, what's your name?
Come on, Zoe.
Second last lady of the day. Come on, put this thing down, Zoe.
Come on, Zoe. Come on, Max. Come on, Max. Alley, Max. Alley, Max. Come on, Max.
Maxime Boisvert getting up to the bonus on men's 3.
Alley, Max.
Danny on number 5.
Come on, Max.
About to get into the slab, true slab section of this climb.
Come on, Max.
Maxime looking real good, just got to oppose into that volume. Ah, but it looks like he just didn't have it in his arms. Just gassed.
You got this, Max. Good job.
He's got 3 minutes and 3 seconds left on the clock. Andreas on men's 4, trying to get his way over this big second volume.
Come on, Zoe.
Not quite there, unfortunately.
Come on, Zoe.
Zoe on women's 5,
Come on, Zoe.
getting a little twisty, trying to figure out how she's going to reach out to bonus, but you lose the feet, and you're probably going to be back on the ground.
Alley, Max. Come on, Max. Let's do this. Alley, Alexis.
Oh, Jose up on men's 1, trying something new, but
Come on, Max.
a little bit of a problem. Have to try again.
Alley, Max.
Juan Sebastian on men's 1, still working his way through the lower part of the climb, trying to make some magic happen.
Strong, Max.
And Maxime Boisvert can't quite close out on men's 3. Meanwhile, Andreas on men's number 4 scores a nice top. Excellent work to him. Danny's still up there on men's number 5. I haven't been watching. He's kind of out of my view. I'm not sure if he's even come down since the last time I was looking at him, or if he's just been hanging out there on the slab. He's got 1 minute and 17 seconds left on the clock. So the pressure is on. In his final climb, Zoe as well in her final climb. Curious to see what Maxime on men's number 3 does. He's come so close to the finish. It's really for him all about getting as rested as possible and giving it another go. If he fluffs another attempt with less than 50 seconds on the clock, he will not reasonably be able to get up there again. So Max looking very tired. Hopefully he can gain some energy back to get back on men's 4, which has been one of the more consistent tops of the series. And Danny drops off on men's number 5. See if he gets back on. But it looks like Danny might be forced to finish his attempt just for having a little scrape on his knee. 14 seconds left. We're going to be introducing a new climber.
Nice job, Zoe. Danny. That's going to do it.
Our next climber out on problem number 1 from Chile is Benjamin Vargas.
Benjamin Vargas. Let's come out for the gentleman. Benjamin on 2.
Ben Vargas taking some time to try and brush off his problems. Still got about 4 minutes, 18 seconds left. But he's taking his time to check this thing out. Felipe on men's 2. Trying to get stable on top of that volume, but foot slipping out. A dangerous position to be in. Benjamin on men's 1's got one hand on the top and looking pretty solid for the finish. Nice job, man. Kyle Murdoch on his last problem over on men's 5, getting up high. Also on their last problem for the women on problem W5. Mariana Alonso Riquelme, she's our final female competitor for the day. We won't be seeing the ladies climb until semifinals tomorrow. All the semifinals action is scheduled to start around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with our B climbers. That'll be followed up around noon time. No, my mistake, around 3 o'clock with the semifinals for the juniors, followed by the semifinals for the A's. That's according to the schedule I have, so if you're watching the juniors, be prepared. They might be climbing a bit earlier than you may have expected. It looks like the juniors will be going first tomorrow in semis. And of course, all this bouldering culminates on Wednesday with the bouldering finals, scheduled to start at noon, where we'll be crowning some Pan American champions, which of course means a lot, including high priority for getting into other comps. So these kids want it.
Come on, Lucas.
Lucas Ushida on men's number 4. Taking it easy. He's got the idea. He knows he needs something to help him get to that crimp. Nice job. He's going to top this thing up pretty easy. Nice job, Lucas. Felipe over on men's 2, still working away. Mariana doing work over on women's 5, trying to make this thing happen. Last problem, you want to end on a high note, hopefully make some progress. And Julian Camacho over on men's 3, trying to sort out controlling that bonus. Getting the brushes involved, seeing if they can put a little friction on that.
Venga, venga. 1 minute.
Felipe looking good, controlling the bonus on M2. See if he can get steady through these crimps. With 25 seconds left on the clock, everything's possible. Looking good so far. It helped to bump up to the higher one. Nice. 17 seconds left. If he gets that control and doesn't underestimate this volume, he could have it. 11 seconds. Excellent top for Felipe and Team Brazil.